Join me as we welcome Cobhams Asuquo. You're welcome to Saturday.
Thank you so much. How are you?
Very well. Pleased to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Wow, I'm so thrilled to have you on the set.
Great to be here.
Great to be here. You see, the thing about you that strikes me the most is how you're able to do all that you do.
I just do it.
How do you do it?
I just do it.
Please tell us.
See, the truth about life is this: you can either do something or you cannot do it. Okay? And if the story you have from the onset is that you cannot do it, you have only two options: to cannot do it or to can do it. If you try to do it, the worst that will happen is you may not do it. The best that can happen is you will do it. So why not try and hope for the best?
So you as a performing artist and a music producer, it must have started from somewhere. How did it all start? What's your story?
What is my story? It started from me blowing up my cheeks and playing the 12-bar blues and, you know, turning everything I could lay my hands on in my house into some kind of musical instrument, from the dining table to barrels for storing water to, you know, silverware, just everything. I think it's where it started. And then it moved from there to the church. I started to play, as a child, I started to play the organ in church, and then I started to play small-time jazz, and then, well, primary school, secondary school, my brief stint with the university. I mean, music just kind of progressed from there on. But it pretty much started from me locking myself up in the bathroom and trying to whistle or blowing my cheeks up to play the 12-bar blues.
You never played with your voice anytime?
I did, but that's one. You know, the voice is a difficult instrument. It's one most people have grown not to love their own voices, and I happen to be one of those people. And for many years, I took to producing because I wasn't comfortable in my own or with my own voice. So yes, I did do the voice thing for a bit. But I was never quite comfortable with it. So I found myself expressing my vocal ideas through other people's voices until I became, well, a tad bit comfortable with my own voice. And then I started to work with it.
And so the instruments, did you go for like a formal training for you to have that kind of expertise, the way you handle this instrument?
No, I didn't. I was fortunate to go to a great primary school, Pacelli School for the Blind and Partially Sighted Children. And yeah, we had a music room. And, you know, I can only say this now, but there were times when I used to steal my way into the music room. Like I'd make my way through, an open window, an open back window into the music room sometimes, because I was desperate to just play. And I would fiddle with everything, you know, the trombone, the trumpet, you know, the guitars, and I would tune the guitar to my own, you know, tune it to my own style and taste, and just play. And I'd play the piano and everything. And I think it progressed from there. And I had, you know, an absolutely fantastic music teacher, Mr. John Yakini. And I progressed into secondary school, and we had a band leader, a band instructor, who was also a music teacher, Mr. M.A. And these guys just worked, you know, with me and saw that, you know, I had a thing for music and gave me the opportunity to express. And I think it kind of happened from there.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? You didn't go to like a formal music school to say, okay, this is it, you know, this is what I want to do. How long did you have that before you now launched yourself into professional music production?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. I mean, it's been all my life. From, you know, I started to, well, whistle and then progress to playing instruments from when I was about, what, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, thereabout. And then I started making beats as soon as I discovered MIDI, which is musical instrument digital interface. But I got into a studio for, well, not my first time, but I made my first beat in a studio when I was about 16. By this time, I'd made like several beats on, like, you know, PSR keyboards and stuff. But when I turned 16, you know, it was time for the big time. So I told someone I was a producer. He believed me, took me to the studio, and I kind of figured my way out. And I made music, and I made about 6 tracks that day. And I think it progressed from there on.
Why would you say he believed you? Are you saying now that you actually literally tricked the person into believing that?
I don't know if trick was the word, but so look, for me, I think I'm something and I say I'm that thing. I mean, I think I'm a golfer and I say I'm a golfer. I just was that kind of kid. You know, I would think it and just sort of say it. It got me into trouble a couple times because I remember when I told my friend's father I could play the saxophone, and he gave me a saxophone, and I stood there looking absolutely stupid. But outside of that, I said I was a producer, and fortunately for me, the studio was, I could sort of navigate my way. I mean, it wasn't anything too unfamiliar. And so I began to make music from I liked computers, I liked, playing the piano, and, it was a small digital studio, and we could work it. And I had a sound engineer, so I worked it. And trick is not the word, but I had never produced in a studio up until that day. So
wow.
Make of it what you will.
Wow, interesting. So which is your favorite music instrument?
I don't know that I have a favorite. I love music in general, and I think every instrument has its unique sonic identity and beauty, and I love them for all, for what they are. I play the piano as my primary instrument. Doesn't necessarily make it my favorite instrument, but the piano is my primary instrument. I play a couple other things, but
So how do we describe you as an artist? Say from, music producer, performing artist. How do we, if we want to personalize you, how do we personalize you?
I'm the out of the box guy. I don't know that, I always say to people, I love music in general, and I listen to all kinds of music. So, I love big internet stars. I love music in general. It's hard to personalize me and say, hey, look, this is the kind of music I create, this kind of music I love. I listen to music in depth. I listen to all kinds of music. I listen to music from the Sufi mystics, and I love music in general. I don't, not on the surface. Every time I sit down with a musician, what I want to do is make music. And, it doesn't matter if you're Solid Star or you're Asha or you're, it doesn't matter who you are. I just sit down and we make music, and we make the kind of music that makes both of us happy.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you some questions that will be pedestrian, but it's just for those who really don't know you.
Okay.
Do you write your songs?
Yes, I'm a songwriter. So yes, there are songs I have written. My songs as well as songs for other people. So primarily I've been producing, and that means that, in a sense I've been involved in the writing process for a lot of the songs that I've produced.
Interesting.
Yes.
So what inspires your songs actually?
I'm inspired by many different things. So places, events, just like any other creative, I draw inspiration from from just a host of things. The bathroom is definitely a place that inspires me. I'm inspired mid-flight, so I love long haul flights because I get to think. Motion generally inspires me. Getting on a train, a plane, a car, a bus, whatever.
Wow.
So I pace in my bedroom, in my office, in my studio. I pace just because I know that motion inspires me. I can draw inspiration from sadness, and I'm not one to get really sad. I'm a cup half full kind of guy, but every now and again, in the world we live in, there's just enough to send you in the other direction. So every now and again I find myself concerned about one thing or the other, and I always find it as a good source of inspiration.
Interesting. So which would you say is your best production yet? Because you're evolving, you're reinventing yourself.
I know, that's like asking me who's my favorite child.
Well,
what? No,
it happens.
No. Well, I don't think it can happen with me. I don't know. I think of music the way you think of fingerprints. They're unique. You can't say that one is better than the other. And this person's fingerprint looks beautiful, and the other person's fingerprint doesn't. Everybody's fingerprint is unique and unidentical. They're written.
Wow, interesting. So who would you want to work with? Who do you desire, crave, wish to work with in the entire universe? I'm not limiting you to Nigeria now, in the entire universe.
If I had to work with someone, I think for me it would be more of a voice and a character and a personality than a name. So it would be that one person whose voice I consider a breath of fresh air. That one person who I think just sparks, just causes creative juices to flow, from my brains to my fingertips and then back to my brains. And I just someone who inspires me to make the kind of music that's in my head. I feel like there's a depth of music that is in my being that needs to be pulled out. And I feel like there's a voice and a personality that can inspire that and just sort of give life to it. So I think that's really what I'm looking for.
Okay, so amongst the Nigerian music artists we have, which voice actually triggered this same expression you have just reeled out?
I think quite a number of people. I can't say one voice,
okay,
quite honestly. I've worked with a number of Nigerian artists, and for me, it's, you know, they've been many high points. So, you know, I remember once I was playing the guitar and Asha was singing, and I got up and short of throwing my guitar away, I was like, this girl's a star. You know what I mean? And nobody even really knew her then, and, you know, we were just starting out life and just making great music. You know, I felt that way about Omaomi, I felt that way about YJ, I felt that way about, you know, Onyeka Onwenu, I felt that way about Banky W, Timi Dakolo, Bez. The list goes on. Like, there's tons of people who you know, just being in the studio with them, they just bring a presence and they bring so much music that's just true and just beautiful. I felt that way more recently about a guy called Tijan. Yeah, I've been doing some work with, I promised myself I wouldn't produce for some time, but, you know, I encountered Tijan and that just sort of changed everything, because he's got an amazing voice and he's an amazing soul. And yeah, and so I think a few people have made me feel that way.
Was this Pacheli School of the Blind, was that the only formal education you had?
I went to Pacheli School and then I proceeded to King's College, Lagos. Amazing, amazing, amazing learning place. I think it reformed. King's College has played a very important role in, you know, defining my gentleman status. Yes, I mean, it literally is a school for kings. And then I went on and had a very brief love affair with the University of Lagos. Didn't go too well, didn't last very long, but I progressed from there on to find life. But yeah, as far as, you know, being educated or, you know, getting educated is concerned, I think it's an ongoing process. As long as you're up on the internet, on Google and YouTube and everything else, you can lay your hands on an iBooks and constantly buying books and reading and enriching yourself and growing your mind, and you're constantly getting educated. I fly a lot because of what I do, and every time I'm flying out or in, I buy a book.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm always reading on the plane. Always reading on the plane.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice. Does this music, does it run in your family?
My mother sort of wanted to be a musician. She wanted to sing. She had song books where she wrote like lyrics to Dear John and Darling, I Love You So, like an evergreen tree, and those kinds of songs. My father was in the army. My mother used to sing to him over the phone and stuff like that. I mean, they had their own little romance going. My father was a DJ who didn't quite
acknowledge.
Very interesting, you know, story. He got drunk and broke his pin, and I don't think he ever replaced it. And he stopped DJing. So yes, there's music, and then, you know, I grew up listening to like Ken Lazarus and Jimmy Cliff and Third World and all of that good stuff from you know, my dad and my mom and Rex Lawson and all of that. So yes, in that sense, you know, there's music in my family, but no one ever really took to playing an instrument or becoming a professional musician.
Did your parents, did they encourage you into this line, or something that you had to like convince them over a period of time to say, come, Mom, Dad, I can do this, allow me?
You know, in terms of parenting, and, you know, I say this to parents who are watching, like, I've had the best parents in the world. My father, God rest his soul, and my mother, who's still alive, and I'm thankful for that. They've been absolutely amazing people. Because see, I'm a product of love. I've gotten love all my life, and I think that's why it's easy for me to sort of think, you know, in love sequence, in love language, in love terms. And my parents really, really encouraged my music. They gave me all the support, and you know, they made it look cool, and they made it, you know, I was the best guy in the world. It didn't matter how well or how croaky I sounded when I sang and when I played, and that just gave me the, you know, it just spurred me on.
Are you the only one that is visually impaired in the family?
Yeah, I was born to a family of would I say, okay, well we're five surviving kids now, and until I was born, we never had we've never had a case of blindness in my family.
Okay, so you're the one and only. I am
Yes.
sure you got all the attention.
Well, yes, you could say so. I had the perfect setup to be a spoiled brat. Yes, the perfect setup.
That's interesting. So which of your parts would you say is most sensitive?
How do you mean?
Body parts.
Wow, I do not know. And if I did, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Which part would you say is most active?
Huh. I do not know. Again,
Active.
I don't know. I don't know.
I was thinking you would say my brain or something, you know, my hearing or my hands or something. I mean, give me something.
Hold on a second. My heart's been beating for as long as I've been alive. It could be that. It could be my brain. Then I don't know what happens to my brain when I go to sleep. It could be my mouth because I talk a truckload. It could be my fingers because I play the piano and I have to play classical pieces that are really, really fast. I don't know. Quite honestly,
you never asked yourself this question?
Which part of my body is the most
Yes.
active? No, I haven't. For someone who reads, yeah, shame on me. I never asked. Look, I never asked myself that question, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you on that one.
You see, I've seen your wife.
Ooh, she the best.
And I ask, how did you even capture a beautiful queen like that?
I'm just a G like that. I'm all right.
How did you meet?
How did we meet? I thought you were going to thank me for saying that I'm a G like that or something. Acknowledge.
Okay, I'm sorry for not acknowledging.
No, but that's
now
fine.
I do.
So, how did we meet? We met at a library. We met at the public affairs section of the United States Information Service. They had we're both preparing for our SATs. I didn't have to take it, but I was, going to take it anyway because my family wanted me to add fully paid scholarship to study in a town. It's a little town called Macon in Georgia, and she was trying to go to the States as well. She ended up going. I ended up staying back and going to Unilag. So
oh wow.
So hey, life just happens. But I guess we're both grateful now. I was going through my test questions and taking down difficult words, and she was spying, looking at my laptop.
How did you know?
How did I know what?
That she was spying.
Because she told me later.
Okay.
Anyways, so we got talking, realized we had like a mutual friend. She went to QC, just as I went to KC. So, we realized that we had, mutual friends.
How long have you been married now?
5 years. Would you believe that? I met her somewhere around 01.
01? That's a long time.
That's a long time. I've known her for about 15 years, and we've been everything to each other. She's been my advisor, prayer partner, best friend,
And you have kids?
And now she's my wife. Yes, we have a lovely boy.
Oh, any plan to add more?
Well, with things like that, are we ever really promised tomorrow? We just live. We live, and we're happy. I'm happy that I have a wonderful family. I'm happy that we're growing, and I take each day as it comes. I'm intentional about each day I'm given, but I don't necessarily fuss. Yeah.
So how do you tell? How do you tell a beautiful woman?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know. You can't always tell. Beauty is relative. Let's start from there. So I think a beautiful woman is more presence than anything else. A beautiful woman or a beautiful person is a great smile, is a great attitude, is a great disposition, is a great personality, is how you warm up to people, is because no matter how well chiseled your face looks, if you have a nasty attitude, man, you're just not necessarily beautiful to me, quite honestly. So yeah, I think that's what it is. It's from the inside out, and how they attract other people to them because of who they are naturally. I think that's what makes people beautiful.
Okay, like now, because you're visually impaired, your other senses are sometimes projected.
That's what they say.
So you meet somebody for the first time. How do you tell, okay, this person could be good, this person could be bad? Because you've just said it. Some people fake it. They can fake it for a very long time. How do you tell? How do you sieve the good people from the bad people, or the good situation with your senses now?
So this is what I think. I think, and I don't think it's limited to, or I don't think it's exclusive to whether you've lost one of your major senses, and so well, yes, you might rely on the others more, and but I think what you can have eyes, ears, the sense of smell, taste, and touch and everything, and still be this person, you know, who is instinctive. I think that we've all been given that gift. Some of us have decided to kill it for the sake of logic and reasoning and all of that stuff. But the honest truth is, you know, we have the life of God in us as human beings, and that gives us the ability to discern. I can smell negative energy from like a mile away.
Wow.
I like to think that I'm a positive guy. I'm not perfect, but I try to be. If there's one of the areas in my life I feel like, you know, I'm not lacking, it's in at least trying to be positive.
So have you ever been stigmatized?
Oh yeah, it comes with the territory. You're a blind guy, of course. Someone's gonna gonna not want you to touch his stuff because he might catch your blindness or something like that.
Oh my God.
Or something like that, but it's just cute when it happens. Yeah, it's I'm thinking about it now. Ooh,
I like the way you laugh.
Stay away from me, I might catch your blindness.
Can you beat that?
So
was
funny.
that when you were growing up, or in this your adult?
I don't know. It's just happened to me a few times. I think I had I think I had someone's musical instrument I wanted to pick up once, and he just kind of backed away, like, no, don't touch it. You might pass on some.
Wow.
I don't know, but
so how did you react?
Well, at the time, I think I must have been. Was I mad? I think I wanted to prove to them. I think I wanted to become good at that thing, just so I could prove to them that, you know. But you know how these things are. When you eventually get to that place, you know, you realize that it doesn't really matter.
Would you like, you know, to see the world for what it is? The gift you would desire as a human being. I mean, knowing that you haven't seen before. Would you like that gift to be the gift of sight?
It's difficult to desire what I don't know. If I told you that I wanted to see, it would be for other people. It would be because it'd probably make my mom happy. I don't know if she still thinks about that right now, because, you know, she's cool like that. Or maybe my wife, I don't know. And then also the fact that, you know, it's a gift that belongs to me. It was given to me freely by God, and I see no reason why I shouldn't have, you know, what is God's gift to me. Other than that, like I said, so people say what I see is black. It's not, because I've never seen black. I'd have no sense of color. I'd have no recollection of color or how sight functions. So for me to say I want to see is for me to desire, you know, what I've never experienced. And yes, there's that part of life, but you don't miss it as much as what you have experienced or what you have. So personally, I don't know. I don't think that's my biggest priority in life, really. There's so many things I want to do. If God were to give me a gift right now, I'd probably ask him to give me the opportunity to ask for 5 more gifts.
Oh, wow.
And among those would be, you know, I'd like to be sure that in my lifetime I can actually really help people, help the poor. I'd like to do a lot of things.
So we're hoping that God will answer your prayers, and God will continue to strengthen you and give you the purpose to reach out to people and touch as many lives as you can.
Amen.
All right.
He sure will. He
and so on
always
that
does.
note, I want to say thank you. I'm stretching out my hands now to say thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cobhams, for gracing our show. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.